Ooh, Facebook. Mm-mm-mm. You had to know I wasn't going to let you get away with this. There's no chance. If you're listening to this video, you probably already know that I don't go away very easily. It's not because I'm trying to be annoying. I actually want people to know. And I guess my personal journey is not going to be complete until I am like so completely out of my shell that I don't even know myself anymore. Like my hustle is real. If I asked you what problem you have with a policy, a person, economy, like it's a legitimate, genuine question. I'm not trying to clown you. I am not trying to play you. I'm not trying to embarrass you. If I ask you, what do you want from your federal government? I'm asking you for one reason and one reason only. I'm asking you because I want to try to help you understand these policies, these processes well enough that you can have what you want. So why are you guys reacting this way? You know who you are. Don't make me go back and read some of those comments. I'm not doing this because I'm offended by the comments and the feedback. I get that this is an emotional issue. Okay, I get it. But if you're so emotional about it that you cannot stop to actually claim the win, what are you doing? Think about what that means in the bigger picture for those people who feel like we've been trying to get equality for 100 million years and we don't. Maybe people have been trying to give it to you and you've been slapping their hand when they offer help. I don't know that anyone's doing that or not, but I mean, for anyone who has any doubt, any question whatsoever, I'm going to give you the 5-minute version of it. You can go back and check in my Facebook profile. If you go back far enough, you will see this. After I had my case and my ordeal with corruption in the courts, I started to reach out to other people who are in the same situation as me, and I offered them help because I know how painful and lonely and frustrating that feels to just be stuck late at night trying to finish a motion, trying to finish an argument, trying to do something because you're fighting for a principle that you believe in. And I wanted to give someone else what I didn't have in those moments, which is when you've been fighting, I don't know whether they will ever see this or not, but there was a couple that I worked with. Like, this case sticks with me, and I literally feel for them so bad. Their son, and I hope that they don't mind, I'm sure they don't mind me telling this because they've already talked about it online. He moved from Oregon to Southern California, to the Los Angeles area, and he was involved in he was on a motorcycle, he was hit by a car, and he was killed. And they had a civil suit going on, and as they proceeded through this civil suit, it became very clear that this was no accident. It was a very convoluted sort of possibly hit and run robbery, possibly even a setup. And there was a lot of legitimate evidence that showed that something was not right about this case. It involved first responders, the ambulance and the California Highway Patrol and the hospital and all of these different people were lying and trying to cover up. And anytime somebody's lying and trying to cover something up, you're like, what are you hiding? Like, what are you hiding? They didn't do a proper investigation. And in my mind, I'm like, you know what? These people, like, they've got this young adult son. He comes down to Southern California, like, their son is dead. And you guys are worried about CYA? Like, have a little bit of compassion. Have a heart. If you made a mistake, then you made a mistake. But it's not your money. It's taxpayers' money. They weren't suing the California Highway Patrol. They were suing the driver. And there, it was almost as if everyone was so busy trying to cover up and not get caught making a mistake that they forgot about what it must feel like for a family to have their young kid go out to start off their life as an adult and for them to just be gone and you're not there. And you get to the hospital and they tell you that your kid is already gone. Like, as a parent, I hurt for them. And I reached out to them because they weren't local, so I know it's difficult to try to prosecute a case right here, pro se. They're in Oregon. And so I think, I can't remember if I first reached out to them because they had a court date coming up or they were missing a deadline. I can't remember what it was that caught my attention, but I just know they were in the same courtroom as I did. And I just basically called and said, is there anything that I can do? Can I help you in any way? And, I talked to the mom for a really good long time, probably 3 or 4 hours. She was telling me about her case, her experience with the court. And, I just literally, I heard for her. I cannot imagine what it must feel like to have something like that happen. As a parent, I don't know that there's anything more horrible than losing a child, but losing them like that. And then to have people be so cold and so selfish about it. It bothered me on every level because it was like there was the corruption in the court. And then there's this corruption in the bureaucracy. And I don't even want to say it was the highway patrol. It was like the bureaucracy that was up above them that was the problem, as it usually is. Whole nother story. And eventually I was able to help them. I think one time I was able to go to the court and file some paperwork for them. That's a big deal because if you're out of town, you can't come just to file paperwork. And sometimes some of that stuff is like you got to file paperwork and then 2 days later, you got to come back to court. It's just oppressive and it's hard. And I was like, if there's a little something that I can do to make them get past this hump, have a little bit more energy to fight. They deserve to fight. They deserve to know what happened to their son. They deserve to have justice for him. And that was that. I did not charge them any money. I didn't ask for any money. I did not want any money. I just wanted for someone to do for them what I wish I had had at that moment. That's it. Nothing else. I know that I helped them with the filing one time and I helped them fill out some other paperwork sometime, and just being able to talk to someone who understood and have a similar experience, because that was a very difficult courtroom and a very difficult judge to deal with. I hope it meant something to them. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to say anything. I just wanted to be there and have the opportunity to be in that position. I've done that with probably 6 or 7 people over the last 5 years. Most people say no, because I'm very well aware it sounds like a crazy person. And that's why I'm telling this story. Because there are people and it's like, what's the catch? What are you doing? What do you want? How, and I understand that because in Los Angeles, there's a scam around every corner. Every corner. There's scams within the scams around every corner. So I understand the suspicion. And all I can tell you is I wrote an article called "The Revolution Must Grow Up" right after the election because people were crying and spitting and gnashing of teeth and biting, like this agony that I felt in the souls of everyone, their fear, their terror. I understand it's real. But in the face of terror, you have really 3 options, even though people tell you you only have 2. Fight or flight, those are not the only choices. Freeze. Pick the wrong one in any situation, and you can cause a minimal amount of harm, a lot of harm. So there's something that I want every one of you to know. If I ask you a follow-up question about something that you posted, why are you angry about this? What's your problem with this? How would you like to see it different? It is 100% sincere. It is 100% coming from a sincere place. And most definitely, if I ask you, what do you want? I might be able to help you get it. And do you really want to have someone come by and say, excuse me, I can see this is causing you a problem. Can I help you? And you're like, get the fuck out of here. Leave me alone. You must be a clown. You must be crazy. I'm taking your black card. You all know who you are. Something must be wrong with you. You've got no intelligence. You must be dumb, stupid, a fool. You know who you are. Do we really want to continue the race of people who treat each other worse than anybody treats us? Because there's coming a time now where we as Black people, and I don't do, things are not necessarily to me by race, unless it's actually by race. Are we going to be a race of people who just is angry and bitter towards everyone? And then you're mad, you don't understand why you can't figure out how to gain equality? Because people are so over your attitude. We cannot keep, this is what I call like in a relationship. I don't know if anybody has ever been in that kind of relationship where you're constantly testing their love. It's an insecurity and you want to see how much bullshit they'll put up with from you sometimes intentional, sometimes it's more subconscious, but you're like, if they still love me after that, then maybe they really love me. But it actually is a never ending test. It never ends. When we've gotten to this place where it's like, well, let me see how hateful I can be towards white people and still demand that they figure out a way to make me equal, whatever that means. Like, if you don't stop, you're going to end up with nothing. No one is going to tell you this. So I am telling you this right now. If you want to be that group of people, that race of people who everybody just forgot about, they don't care, you're no longer a viable voting group, you're no longer a viable economic group, you're just, and they don't care about whether or not your schools are funded properly, whether you have good housing. If you want us to be that group, then keep it up. We're adults here. There's no time to spare your feelings. Why? Then to try to spare people's feelings so that they don't get the truth, so that they don't know what to do to get what they want. Here's the thing. Either you want to get what you want, whether that's my school sucks, my kids deserve better. If that's what you want, then say that's what you want. That has nothing to do with Donald Trump, but I can still help you with that. Okay? I can still help you with that. Those of you who are telling me you don't know the blah, 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 you don't know me. You don't know what I can do or what I can't do. If I can't do something, I'll let you know, but you're not going to know until you try. So are you going to tell me that I don't know how to do anything? I'm dumb. I am of no value. And you don't know whether God sent you an angel in disguise. I'm not saying I am or I'm not, but you don't know. So now this is how you've acted. You've treated a sister in some way or another who came to you with a legitimate offer of, let me try to help you with that. And you're slapping my hand. It's such a disappointment. Not only for you, but for me, because I'm like, okay, do we want to just be bitter and angry and complain and talk about how the Constitution didn't value us properly? Like, I have news for you. These people that wrote the Constitution, that were making Black people only 2/3 of a person, they are so dead. And the people that are here today, they had nothing to do with that. There's nothing they can do about it. So everybody's going to have to get over it. People keep telling me, well, you don't understand the pain of the history. What are you going to do about it? You're going to try to make someone today who's just trying to live their life pay for something that was written hundreds of years ago that they had nothing to do with, don't agree with, as opposed to just saying, this is what I feel like I need to get past that. These are your choices. And I'm talking the way that I'm talking because it's frustrating, because how many people in a metaphorical way, whether they're white people, whether they're politicians, have said, these are the people that I'm supposed to help, so let me figure out what they want and give it to you. And maybe that's the way you reacted, and maybe they just moved on. So my challenge to anyone out there, stop being afraid that if you admit that you're not sure why you hate the president, that somebody else is going to be like, oh, he may not be so bad, I might like him too. Like, stop it. You need to figure out what you want. For anybody out there who really gets this, and there's a lot of people who get this, for people who get it, you're in the majority. You are not in the minority. I promise you. Because I talk to people about this all the time, everywhere I go, because we've gotten to this point where everybody is afraid. We're afraid to make someone else mad. We're afraid to be shamed and called names for what we want, what we believe in, what we think. We're afraid that someone's going to think we're racist. I can no longer be concerned with being afraid that you think I'm a sellout. It is like, I can't be concerned with that. I'm going to just ask you, do you want help getting what you want? Like, forget about whether I'm a sellout, whatever the heck that means. Don't worry about it. If I am here to offer you legitimate help, why does it even matter? There is no gotcha. If you want references, hey, test me out. I'm not asking for anything. I'm not asking for any money. I'm not asking for someone to pay me for money for life coaching. This is politics. We all benefit when we get the right people in office. And because most people kind of sort of want the same thing, maybe a disagreement about how to get there. But if you don't even start down that road and identify the problem, like, people are going to move on past you. And if you all don't see that happening, and so that is happening, and you do see it happening, and you're getting madder and madder and madder because people are moving past you. The reason they're moving past you is because you keep slapping their hand. Stop slapping their hand and maybe start thinking about what you want. Start communicating what you want instead of just telling people you made me 2/3. That's not going to do you any good. Let me tell you where I'm going next. There is a prison reform bill that a lot of you out there should know about, but you don't know about. I have a lot of experience with legal work. I am going to work on, because a lot of times you pass a law like that, people who can afford to hire an attorney, they hire one, they put their application in, it gets granted, they get out. People who don't have money have to wait for a court-appointed attorney. Sometimes it can take a long time. And their mandatory sentence is over while they're waiting for an attorney. I think I have the ability to figure out how to make this so that people can do it self-represented, to create a template, to create a paperwork. Everybody may not be able to do it. I can't, but for those people who just need a little bit of help understanding, like, what are the logistical sort of technical steps I need to go through. If you guys don't know what you want, I guarantee you there are some prisoners out there who know they want to try to get out early. And I'm going to do that, and I'm not charging anybody a penny for that. If there's somebody out there who knows somebody, get here first. I'm not kidding. Because people need to learn to understand that you get what you want by, number one, knowing what you want, being able to articulate what you want, being able to sell the benefit of what you want, either to you personally or to society or to them, and then working together to get there. I'm not sure why this is so hard. I don't think it is that hard. I think everyone is just afraid that either they can't get it, no one's going to care, but you're going to have to decide whether you want to pick the fear or whether you want to take the chance and let the revolution grow up and say, everybody is leaving me behind, and I'm going to take a sprint and catch up and see if these people will let me walk alongside them on the journey to success. And when I say success, I'm talking about mentally, because there are some people out there, you're doing financially fine, but you still don't feel like the road is fair for you. That can be fixed. But if you're not going to let me work with you to try to fix it, you're not going to have any trust. You're not just mistrusting. You're mean and nasty about it. If you really think, and I'm saying this, like I said, I'm saying it out of love because I'm offering the help out of love. I don't like to see people suffering and in pain. I really don't. This is really who I am. Those of you who think I am some kind of bizarre, don't know I'm black, racial sellout, bigot, white supremacist, I don't even know what these things are. I am just me. I am just Marina. This is my thing. It's my passion. It's my charity. It's my volunteer work. It is what I love to do. And more importantly, if you're a person who's just going out there voting for someone who doesn't give a fuck about you, who doesn't give a fuck about me, who doesn't give a care about anybody else in that district, then everybody suffers. In this day and time in California, if you don't vote because you figure it's all hopeless, like, don't give up before you've tried everything. Somebody will take your absentee ballot and fill it out, and you don't know what the heck they're doing. They're doing that. Now is the time for you to take a chance. If you're somebody and you get it, and you know somebody who doesn't, tell them to stop worrying about everything except figuring out what they want, and don't let this opportunity pass. Because it's an individual thing, but it's also something that we do together. I think a lot of people want the same thing. And when you have a lot of people who all want the same thing, that is where your power comes from. And you can bring that power to the doorstep of the people who thought the power belonged to them and take it back. This is your chance. May not come along again. Just have the courage to say it. I will spend time working on it, investigating it, looking into it, seeing what the possible solutions are. When I get a chance, I will talk to you about whether these are options. Have you tried them or not? Don't assume, and I'm not even sure why anybody does, but don't assume that there's nothing that I know that can get you to the next level if you really want it. For those of you who just really want to say, you know what, you're dumb, you don't know what you're talking about, you're out of your mind. If you think that that's the standard that you want to hold yourself to, do it. Thanks for listening. Like, share, comment, vent. But when it's all said and done, tell me what the heck you want. That's all I ask.